What is up, everyone? Quick live stream. This live stream is not technical analysis. If you're here for technical analysis, not much has changed since the technical analysis from yesterday. We still have our same targets as yesterday, but I wanted to do a video because, number one, the next few days, I'm not really going to have a chance to really record. My entire office and studio and everything is in a U-Haul truck. So if you're here for technical analysis, go check out the charts that I did yesterday in yesterday's video. Essentially, right now, Bitcoin right around 12.5, and we have our targets still out of our inverse head and shoulders. We have a short-term possible resistance right around, I think it was 13.7 with a target for a breakout target 14.1. So if you want to check that out, go check it out. But I wanted to talk about real quick in this video, I wanted to put some content out there. And I figured, if I could put content out there for anybody right now, I feel like it should be for people that are coming into cryptocurrency space that are new into Bitcoin. And a lot of times what I know happens is people get pulled into Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. It's that first cryptocurrency that most people hear about. They start looking up Bitcoin, they start buying some Bitcoin, and what happens is, I don't know if I had live chat turned on or not, but what happens is they get distracted. You go on YouTube, you get distracted. You might be new into cryptocurrency right now, and you might be getting distracted with a ton of, what's up, Tech Lords? A ton of altcoins, a ton of hype, a ton of people doing technical analysis and making predictions on what's going to happen. And I just want to tell you this. Right now, Bitcoin is at 12.5. It wasn't long ago Bitcoin was at close to $3,000 in this bear market bottom that we just had. And first off, if you look at those short-term charts from the $3,000 area, I'm going to tell you this. Things have changed very dramatically. We're above $10,000 right now, and there are still new people getting into the space. Bitcoin is extremely speculative. If you're new to the space, please realize what you're getting into with Bitcoin alone, let alone altcoins, which are even more volatile and more risky. This cryptocurrency space has the ability to change your life financially in the long term. I truly believe that. It's why I'm heavily invested in cryptocurrency. But it also has the exact amounts of ability to completely wreck you, especially if you don't have an investment background and you don't have self-control. And if you're going on YouTube and you're going on Twitter and you're trying to find people that look like they know what they're talking about, and you're just listening to them for predictions and financial advice. So if you're new in this space, I just plead with you, if you're newly invested, to simply do your own research in terms of Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now, you have the next halving coming up in like 314 days it is, I think now. And you have coin rewards going from 12.5 to 6.25. The supply and demand factor that is coming within Bitcoin environment, within the entire Bitcoin ecosystem, is ridiculous. And in order to, reap the rewards of what is to come for Bitcoin, you have to have patience. You will, if you get distracted, you will lose sight of long-term opportunity in this space in Bitcoin. So number one, patience. If you're invested in Bitcoin, block rewards, supply and demand in 314 days changing, being cut in half. Supply and demand is a long-term play, everybody, and I can't tell you enough how much patience is required in this space. So that's really what I wanted to say. Right now, Bitcoin 12,500. I'm going to tell you this. I'm long-term in Bitcoin. Many people are. Many leaders in the space are long-term in Bitcoin. They believe 12,500. It's nice. I believe it's nice, especially being we were just at like 3,000. But it's just the beginning. It's just the start. Most of the world is not even here yet. Most of the world is not even here yet. Everybody. So while it's speculative, the soundness of Bitcoin to this global monetary system that we live in right now is so strong that I truly think it's going to be tough for Bitcoin to fail. Bitcoin can fail. It's just you have to have that in the back of your mind. But there's such a good play right now in terms of where we are. So yeah, $12,500 Bitcoin right now. My speculative charts have $100,000 Bitcoin by like 2021. That's a fun little speculative prediction, I guess, that we have on our charts. Now, those charts I think are pretty reliable. I think it's extremely realistic to have like $100,000 Bitcoin by 2021. Some people say it's going to be by the end of this year. I don't think that. So, and just to, if you're also new here, just to paint a picture for you, gold market cap around $8 billion. If Bitcoin achieves just half of gold market cap, Bitcoin would be around $200,000. So, in order for Bitcoin to get to that level, a $200,000 Bitcoin, I'm sorry, I'm saying billion. It's I get it. It's trillion. In order for Bitcoin to get to, I guess I think a $3.75 trillion market cap, which is half of gold, Bitcoin would be trading right around $200,000. Now, what is the path to that? Obviously, speculatively, we can look at the charts. We can see what's going on technically. We can look at the parabolic charts. But the thing that plays into that, again, which circles us right back around to patience, is a supply and demand factor, right? So we have a 2020 halving coming, right, in 314 days. We have a 2024 halving. We're excited about a halving that is like a year away, but we have another halving like 5 years away. And then we have another halving 4 years after that halving, right? So it's just crazy right now that the opportunity that lies ahead for Bitcoin to achieve half a market cap of gold, around 4 trillion, it's just there. It's wide open. And while it is there, it's speculative. So I want to throw that out there. I'm not trying to give you all hype on why, on how Bitcoin's going to go crazy and you should buy Bitcoin and invest in Bitcoin. This video is actually for the opposite. It's just to tell you the opportunity is so strongly there, but the opportunity to fail is there as well. So that's pretty much it. That's my spiel on Bitcoin, everybody. If you're new here and you run across this video, please understand the opportunity is real. I do not believe you're too late if you're just getting here, right? $12,500 Bitcoin. I don't believe you're too late, especially if you have just kind of that mindset of, I'm going to invest for my future and I'm holding this long term. So that's up to you, right? If you want to mess around with altcoins, if you want to mess around with YouTube predictions and try and trade BTC with other pairs, like you want to try and trade BTC with XRP or something, be my guest. But I'm telling you, there is a very strong likelihood you're going to fail. You're going to lose a ton of fiat that you could have just held into Bitcoin. So that's it. I think the moral of this story is this: Bitcoin right now, 12,500, having 314 days away. We're talking 12.5 to 6.25, having the coin rewards from 12.5 to 6.25. The supply shock that is going to begin. It's already been happening every 4 years. It's going to happen again this next halving, and then it's going to happen again in 2024, right? That's number 2. Number 3, the path to $100,000 is wide open and clear, even in the next couple of years. The path to half of gold's market cap, around 4 trillion, 3.75 trillion, $200,000 Bitcoin is wide open and clear, and it all has to do with supply. The world will catch on to what's going on right now. Right now, we look like a bunch of delusional investors in this Ponzi scam, as people call it, which doesn't even make sense. But I'm telling you, The world will catch on. I see real world people catching on, and they slowly pivot their mindset to be like, what is this? Like, what is this Bitcoin thing? And, you know, they realize it's just like, I don't know, the light bulb goes off or something, and that's going to happen for much of the world. And when that happens, I can tell you this: right now, Bitcoin supply at like $17 million or something, with an estimated 4 million missing, never to be recovered. That means we're talking a current circulating supply of Bitcoin around like 13 million right now. And to me, that's just crazy. That's just bonkers. Uh, if there's many people that still want to, try and get 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin, more Bitcoin, now's the opportunity, everybody. If that's what you're trying to do, I have a buddy that's trying to get as much Bitcoin as he can. He just got in not too long ago, and I truly don't believe it's too late. It's not too late. 12,500. We're going to look back at this and we're going to say, wow, those prices were cheap. In this very same exact way, we're looking back at just a few months ago, Bitcoin 6 months ago, $3,000 area. So I'm seeing people talking about patience. I want to see what these comments says. Asked for patience since 8K a week ago. He still was saying the dip is coming, but it seems everybody, thanks for the super chats. Dan, appreciate it. And Maurice, appreciate the super chats. If I see one more comment of somebody saying that I was calling the dip, I don't think you watch my full videos. We always have targets to upside and downside. We always have huge targets to the downside. A dip will come. A dip will come. I'm sorry if a 10% dip isn't big enough, but a 30% dip will come. We're going to have a huge red weekly candle, multiple, in the coming months, in the coming years. It's going to happen over and over again. I can't predict when it's going to happen. If you're here right now and you're new, that's another thing I want to throw out there to you. If you're here and you're new into crypto, my approach to Bitcoin and Litecoin, when I buy, I'm always buying, but when I'm buying heavily is when we have a dip. When we have a week and it's an ugly red candle and it's 30%, 40%. And yes, we have Yule Lee already had 30% correction from 13.9 to 9.7. Yeah, so true. And what I want to say is, nobody in the comments of any of my videos said, wow, thanks for that. Thanks for preparing me for at least being ready for that dip, because nobody even really noticed that dip. But look, we just had it. It was a pretty sizey dip. And I talk about the dip. I want it in the back of all of your heads, of all of your minds. It's always in the back of my mind, the dip, because it's the best possible opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin. If in an environment as Bitcoin's going up and it just keeps going up, if you want to buy Bitcoin, buying those dips is the best way to do it. I'm always going to talk about it. To everybody that wants me to give you a date when that's going to happen, stop looking for people on YouTube to give you dates and predictions. I know there's people on Twitter and YouTube that give dates and predictions, and then they just throw a ton of predictions out there. One will stick, and they delete everything else, all their other predictions, and then they like retweet and they talk about how their one prediction was correct. Be very cautious of those people. Be very cautious, because you're going to be like, wow, this person really knows what they're talking about. And then, they completely, most of their predictions are not right. There's no such thing as a prediction, everybody. It's all about preparation. It's all about anticipation. It's all about being ready for upside and downside. That's it. There's no other name to this game than anticipation. And if you can come up with your approach to these markets in an environment where we can actually go up or down, because that's the reality of the situation and nobody has control of it. Nobody knows when, what, where, or how. It just happens, up or down. If you can be ready for an environment like that, and you can have an approach in an environment like that, and you're long-term patient in this cryptocurrency world that we live in, then I'm telling you, I think you're going to be okay. It's worked for me long enough, and I'm a person that has failed on the investment side, in my early 20s, big time, because I wasn't patient, because I got greedy, because I only looked and thought about the upside. I didn't realize the downside. And I also especially didn't realize that there is an incredible amount of opportunity in the downside. If you're one of those people right now that you feel like you don't have enough Bitcoin or Litecoin, I know there's a lot of Litecoin people in here. If you're one of those people that you don't think you have enough, stop thinking about how high Bitcoin's going to go. Stop thinking about how high Litecoin's going to go. Start thinking about and being prepared for those moments of fear in the markets when Bitcoin and Litecoin go down. It's going to happen again and again. Like Bitcoin and Litecoin aren't just going to start, aren't going to enter a phase where they're just going crazy nonstop to the upside. They're always going to have retracements. And if they don't have retracements, that's scary. That's unhealthy. If we don't see weekly red candles start happening, that gets a little scary in my opinion. We need healthy retracement. We need consolidation of the markets. And those are times when people start fearing that it's going to continue going down. Those are the times when I like to buy. I like to buy when people are freaking out or 30% down in a week or something, and then you buy some Bitcoin. That's my approach. That's not financial advice, but it requires patience and it requires just hanging out a little bit and believing in this technology long term. So those are my thoughts. I know this wasn't technical analysis at all, but did a technical analysis yesterday that's still in play. Resistance at 13,700 potentially, with a target of 14,100, all within a massive Fibonacci resistance area. So check out that video from yesterday if you're interested, and you haven't seen it. But otherwise, man, supply and demand, everybody, supply and demand. Somebody just said LTC is dipping. Well, you know what that means. You know what that means. We have huge targets to the downside for Litecoin. And if Litecoin hits any of those targets, you know what I'll be doing, everybody. I will 100% be buying the dip. People will be talking trash about Litecoin. People will be saying Litecoin is failing. So I can't believe this let me resume. I had to cool down my phone. I'm just going to end the live stream here, though. I don't know if this is even going to work as it uploads, but thanks everybody for coming by. I was going off and my phone just overheated and it shut off, my stinking iPhone. And I appreciate it. I'm in a parking lot waiting for Sarah, who's almost done, so I gotta peace out anyway. But I appreciate everybody coming by today. Be careful out there in these crazy crypto waters. But opportunity of lifetime, everybody. Bitcoin, although we're up from $3,000 area in the last 6 months, this thing is just getting started in my opinion. And I appreciate all of you. If you're here and you're not a subscriber, replay viewer, live viewer, whatever it is, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel as we grow this thing, as we enter a whole new cycle for Bitcoin. That is the bull market. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I'll see you in the next video.